Welcome back, Colonels. Today's Monday, April the 6th. So yeah, Monday, April 6th. Here we go. Hopefully that you guys are able to submit your quiz to me last week. And today we're going to start Unit 3, which is about drugs, alcohol. And at the end of it, we'll talk about cancer. So let's get right to it. Drug, 3 definitions I need you guys to understand. A drug. And that is simply defined as any substance that chemically alters the brain. Second definition is tolerance. Okay, tolerance is when you have a buildup of a drug and you need more and more of the drug to get the same effect. Okay, for instance, so if 1 cup of coffee didn't do it for you in the morning in terms of waking you up, you might need a second or third cup of coffee. So you're building up a tolerance. Well, that tolerance can apply to a legal drug like caffeine or an illegal drug. Third one, withdrawal. As being without a drug for a period of time. But the biggest part about the definition I want you to understand is you're always going to have the opposite effects of the drug. All right. So if in the instance of caffeine, it's a stimulant, it builds you up. When that drug wears off, you have the opposite effect. That's when you become tired and lethargic. Okay. Somebody might say that you crashed. Okay. So withdrawal, opposite effects always. All right. So there's 3 forms of a drug. We already know that you can have pills, powders, and liquids. All right, we covered that in Unit 1 when we talked about date rape drugs. The thing I want you to understand is this, though. When you take a drug, it's going to hit you differently. Some are going to hit you fast, some are going to hit you slow. So a slow process, all right, is if I take one orally. Okay, I ingest it. All right, I might not feel the effects of a drug 20 or 30 minutes later. All right, we can also inject, all right, shoot it right into our veins. Now that hits us a lot faster. Usually that's going to hit us somewhere, around 15 seconds, depending on your body size. But the fastest way for a drug to hit you is actually through smoking. And a lot of times people would say, oh, just inject, that's got to be the fastest way. And the reason why it's not is this: if I inject, it has to go all the way up through my arm, through my superior vena cava, in through my first atrium, into my ventricle, and then to my lungs. All right, so it has quite a few steps before it gets there. Compared to smoking, which immediately goes to the lungs, all right, there's a difference to it. You're talking about 10 seconds. But anyway, so those are 3 fastest way, 3 types, as well as those 3 definitions. The main thing I want to get to today is the classifications of drugs. Make sure that you guys understand these. We'll zoom in on these. So classifications, we have stimulants, depressants, hallucinogens, opioids, inhalants, and then in starred, I'll talk about this because it's a separate category, are cannabis. All right, so a stimulant, all right? Examples, well, we already talked about this with caffeine. Another legal drug would be nicotine, all right? Some illegal stimulants would be cocaine. And you could also have something called meth or methamphetamines. And if somebody would say, well, with meth, you might want to put that down on a hallucinogen, I get it, but we're going to put it as a stimulant for right now. All right, these are things that speed up your central nervous system. So your heart rate increases, your breathing increases, your blood pressure increases, all those things, stimulants. Next one, depressants. These are things that slow down your central nervous system. So my breathing and heart rate will slow down with this. You have number 1, alcohol. Number 1, the biggest depressant is alcohol. You might hear something called lean or purple drink. That's another depressant. All right. Hallucinogens, things that make you see and hear things. Well, what do we have? You have LSD, which aka acid. You have methamphetamines. That would be a hallucinogen. All right. So we'll get into all those types of hallucinogens later. Opioids. All right. These are painkillers. Our heroin. We also have anything from prescription drugs, so oxys, oxycontin, oxycodone. Inhalants, things that we are breathing in, we're taking in that way. So spray paints, glues, paints, okay? All those things. Those would be all inhalants. And then cannabis, it comes from a hemp plant, and I understand the reason why we're putting it separate is because we don't want to necessarily put it as a depressant, even though, sure, somebody gets really mellow with marijuana. Somebody say, oh, it's a painkiller, so you should put it in opioids, but that really doesn't count either. So it hits too many of these different classifications, so we're putting in our own separate spot because it also comes from a separate plant. All right, here's your rule of thumb. Last thing I'm going to leave you before I cut off for the day, and again, we're going to keep these videos short. The rule of thumb means generally speaking, not always 100%, but typically this is the case. And there's an equation. It simply says faster equals powerful equals addictive. The faster the drug works, the more powerful it is. The more powerful it is, the more addictive it becomes. Okay? So tomorrow, we'll get right into marijuana. There'll be a worksheet to go along with it, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care. Have a good day.